All right, folks, gather around. We need to have a little chat about something that's been brewing on the international stage. It's about two countries that you might think would be the best of friends. But lately, things have been a bit rocky. We gotta talk about India and America. These two nations have a lot in common. Both are large democracies with vibrant cultures and significant global influence. You'd think they'd be the best of pals, right? They're supposed to be buddies, right? Democracies, big economies, both love a good Bollywood movie. Okay, maybe that's just me. But seriously, there's a lot that ties these two countries together. From trade to technology, they have a lot of shared interests. But lately, things have been a little frosty. The relationship has hit some bumps in the road and it's not all smooth sailing anymore. There have been disagreements and tensions that have made things a bit chilly. Why all the drama? Well, a lot of it goes back to former President Trump. Yeah, that guy. His policies and rhetoric have had a lasting impact on international relations, and India was no exception. Turns out his America First thing didn't always play so well in other parts of the world, especially not in India. The focus on prioritizing American interests sometimes came at the expense of international partnerships. Remember all those tariffs Trump slapped on Chinese goods? They were meant to protect American industries, but they had ripple effects across the globe. Turns out, India got caught in the crossfire. The tariffs and trade policies didn't just affect China, they also impacted India's economy and trade relations. And when it comes to things like who makes your iPhone, well, let's just say Trump had some strong opinions about where Apple should be setting up shop. He wanted more manufacturing to happen in the U.S., which put pressure on companies operating in India. Stick around, because things are about to get interesting. We're diving into the complexities of international diplomacy and trade, and how these policies have shaped the current state of affairs. We're going deep into the world of international diplomacy, folks. Don't worry, I'll translate. We'll break down the key issues, the major players, and what it all means for the future of India and America's relationship. So, buckle up and get ready for a deep dive into the intricate dance of global politics and economics. Let's start with the money. Money, as they say, makes the world go round. It's the lifeblood of economies, the fuel for growth, and the root of many international relationships. When we talk about money in the context of global trade, it becomes even more significant. See, India and the U.S., they do a lot of business together. These two giants of the global economy have been trading partners for decades, exchanging goods, services, and investments. Their economic relationship is a complex web of mutual dependencies and benefits. We're talking billions and billions of dollars. This isn't just pocket change. It's a massive flow of capital that impacts millions of lives on both sides of the ocean. From technology and pharmaceuticals to textiles and agriculture, the trade between these two nations covers a vast array of sectors. But Trump, he wasn't too happy with the balance of trade. During his presidency, he often voiced concerns about trade deficits, where the U.S. was importing more than it was exporting. He saw this as a sign that America was losing out. He thought India was getting a better deal than America. In his view, the trade policies were skewed in favor of India, allowing them to benefit more from the bilateral trade. This perception led to a series of actions aimed at correcting what he saw as an imbalance. So, what did he do? He decided to take matters into his own hands. With the stroke of a pen, he signed executive orders and introduced new trade policies. He put taxes, called tariffs, on Indian goods coming into the U.S. These tariffs were essentially taxes on imports, making Indian products more expensive in the American market. Stuff like steel, aluminum, and other raw materials were hit hard. These are essential components for many industries, and the increased costs had a ripple effect throughout the supply chain. Even those delicious Indian mangoes. Yes, even the beloved mangoes, a symbol of India's rich agricultural heritage, were not spared. The tariffs made them pricier for American consumers. The idea was to make American products cheaper and protect American jobs. By making foreign goods more expensive, the hope was that consumers would turn to domestically produced items, thereby boosting local industries and employment. Problem is, it also made things more expensive for Indian businesses and shoppers. The increased costs of exporting to the U.S. meant higher prices for Indian goods, which in turn affected the local economy. And that didn't make India very happy. The tariffs were seen as a hostile move, straining the diplomatic and economic ties between the two nations. Protests and public outcry were common as people voiced their dissatisfaction. Imagine someone messing with your bottom line. You wouldn't be thrilled either, right? For many Indian businesses, the tariffs meant reduced profits and increased financial stress. It was a challenging time, with many struggling to adapt to the new economic landscape. Now let's talk about Pakistan. India and Pakistan, they have a complicated history, to say the least. Lots of tension, disagreements, and a few wars thrown in for good measure. During one particularly tense moment, Trump claimed that he personally intervened and prevented a full-blown war between the two countries. He even said he had a very good relationship with both Indian Prime Minister Modi and then Pakistani Prime Minister Khan. India, however, wasn't so quick to buy it. They downplayed Trump's claims, saying they had the situation under control. It was a bit awkward, to say the least, like that friend who takes credit for your success but wasn't actually involved. Remember how everyone wants a piece of Apple? The tech giant has become a symbol of innovation and quality, with its products being coveted worldwide. From the latest iPhones to sleek MacBooks, Apple has set the standard for consumer electronics. Well, India has been trying to get Apple to make more of its iPhones and other products in India. This isn't just about having the Apple logo on products made in India, it's about transforming the country's manufacturing landscape. It's part of their Make in India plan to boost their own manufacturing and create jobs. The initiative aims to turn India into a global manufacturing hub, reducing dependency on imports and fostering economic growth. Enter Trump. He publicly pressured Apple to move its production out of China and into the U.S. During his presidency, Trump was vocal about bringing manufacturing jobs back to America, and Apple was a prime target for this agenda. He even suggested that Apple should build a big, beautiful plant in America. The idea was to create jobs and stimulate the U.S. economy. But it wasn't as simple as it sounded. He didn't exactly make it a secret that he wasn't a fan of Apple's reliance on Chinese factories. The trade tensions between the U.S. and China only added fuel to the fire, making the situation even more complex. This put India in a tough spot. On one hand, they were eager to attract Apple's investments to boost their own economy. On the other hand, the geopolitical landscape was shifting rapidly. They were trying to attract Apple's investments, and here was Trump, essentially telling Apple to go elsewhere. The competition for Apple's favor was fierce, and India's plans seemed to be caught in the crossfire. It felt like a slap in the face. The Indian government had invested significant resources and effort into making the country an attractive destination for global manufacturers, and now they faced an unexpected hurdle. Despite these challenges, India remains committed to its Make in India initiative. The country continues to work on improving its infrastructure, easing regulatory hurdles, and offering incentives to attract foreign investments. The goal is not just to assemble products, but to create an ecosystem where innovation and manufacturing can thrive. With a young and dynamic workforce, India has the potential to become a major player in the global tech industry. The future of manufacturing in India looks promising, but it will require strategic planning and international cooperation. As the world watches, India is determined to carve out its place in the global supply chain. Only time will tell if India can successfully shift the balance and become a preferred destination for tech giants like Apple. But one thing is clear, the ambition and drive are there, and the journey has just begun. So, you add up the tariffs, the awkward peacemaker claims, and the pressure on Apple, and you can see why India might be a little miffed with Trump. But it goes beyond just being annoyed. These actions damage the trust between the United States and India. And trust, my friends, is pretty important in any relationship, especially between two of the world's biggest democracies. Now, it's not like the United States and India were always best friends before Trump. They've had their share of disagreements over the years, different foreign policy goals, different approaches to things. But under Trump, the relationship felt strained. Like that couple at a dinner party who are trying to pretend everything is fine, but everyone knows they're one wrong word away from an argument. Here's the thing about India. They're a rising power, a big country with a growing economy and a young population. They want to be taken seriously on the world stage. They don't want to be told what to do, especially not by a country that seems more interested in its own interests than in being a reliable partner. So, where do things go from here? Well, the Biden administration has been trying to smooth things over with India. They've been talking more, trying to find common ground on issues like trade and climate change, but it's going to take time to rebuild the trust that was lost. It's like trying to fix a vase after you've dropped it. You can glue it back together, but the cracks might still be visible. The big takeaway from all of this is that trade wars, pressure tactics, and public spats are rarely the answer. They create tension, hurt economies, and damage relationships. In the end, everyone loses, except maybe those who are watching from the sidelines and taking advantage of the chaos. And trust me, there are always those who benefit from other people's fights.